How you doing? Welcome back. It's Charlie. I'd like to address this vlog to a couple of people. First of all, to the governor of our beautiful state, our golden state, Mr. Jerry Brown, Governor Brown. My name is Charlie Salinas, 51 years old, and I am homeless in the city of Pasadena, California. I've been homeless now for a while. Not a good thing. And during my time here, still, I have seen a lot of homeless people. I have seen the homeless population grow. I mean, just out of hand, really out of hand. And even more so here in Pasadena. I know that recently folks had voted on Measure H and it passed. The problem is with Measure H, it's a good idea. It's a great idea. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. But when anything is conceptualized, voted on, and passed, there's a period between passing and initiating and then following through. Right now, a lot of people are talking about it. They're still gaining people, employees, a panel, hiring, doing studies. By the time the actual money gets to the services to help homeless people, a good chunk has been taken out. We need to stop that. I know that a lot of people hire other people that they think they know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. People that are being hired to help homeless people have no clue. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I don't mean that to be sarcastic or nasty, but it's true. Unless you've been homeless, and I don't mean for a day, a week, a month, at least a year. I'm not saying to go out and try it. Well, maybe so, go out and try it. But at least a year, because you can say, well, yes, I was homeless for, just one winter. Okay, well, you need to experience everything else. You need to know. The thing is, when there are people hired to help the homeless, they try as they may, they can't have the compassion. They can't understand because they haven't walked in our shoes. Unless you've walked in someone else's shoes, you really have no idea. I don't really feel that you could have a concept of how really to utilize funds or monies or help. For example, homeless shelters. They are great. They are fantastic. Here in Pasadena, we have one. And we have a cold weather shelter. Now, the problem with our cold weather shelter is that it's supposed to be open for about 2.5, 3 months. From what I can understand and what I've seen, it's only cold weather activated. That means when the temperature drops at a certain temperature, then they open their doors and they bring people in. There were times this past winter where it got really, really cold and it was raining and the shelters weren't open because it happened to fall on a holiday. So while people are getting sick, maybe a couple are dying and just being miserable and being exposed to the elements, the people that are helping in the cold weather shelter are not there. They're at home enjoying the warmth and the comfort of their own home. That's not fair. It's really not fair. That's why homeless people get so embittered and nasty towards everybody else. It's not that we demand the help, it's just that we seek the help without stopping. Just because it's a holiday, because it's a holiday, homeless people do not take the time off. We're homeless 24/7. We don't know what it's like to take a day off. We just don't. Or those of us can't even remember the last time what it was like. We need your help, Mr. Governor. We really do, especially here in Los Angeles County. It's really bad. And it's getting even worse in San Francisco and in San Diego. Part of a group that keeps in touch with each other, and we communicate via email, via posts, Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media is out there, we communicate to each other and we convey and show the local newspaper clippings to each other, and it's just getting worse. Mountain View, California, for example, they've gotten so bad. I mean, Silicon Valley, fantastic. But I know a lot of people that still work for big tech companies, big software companies, that have actually had to give up their apartments and their homes because they can't afford to do that anymore. They've experienced something of an area of over 30% increase in rent alone. People had move out, buy a motorhome, and live on the street. And surprisingly enough, they still work at these high-tech companies, making still $100,000 plus. But in all reality, rent is about $3,000 to $4,000 for maybe a one-bedroom apartment. Can't do that. So even here in Pasadena, we are building a whole bunch of condos and townhomes. Little to no low-income housing. It's just not there. So when people say, well, you should just save up your money and move in, realistically, we can't move into a home. We can't move into an apartment. It's just not feasible. It's not possible. Your average homeless person that has county assistance, that's $200 in food stamps, $200 in GR. That's general relief. That's cash money. $400 a month for someone to live. That means you're living on the street for $400. You can't get an apartment. You can't get anything because especially here in Pasadena, you're being told that you need to earn at least twice the amount of rent in order to be able to move in. And the fact of moving in is a whole nother ballgame. We can't do it. So we really need your help. And if you can focus on this, it would be greatly appreciated. I'm not saying drop everything you're doing, but at least focus some attention to it. You're the governor of our state. You're behind the wheel. And you're driving us to wherever we need to go and whatever we need to get things resolved. I know the economy and the budget and everything, you have your hands tied, but every day more and more people are coming out here. And our veterans need the help the most. These people went and put their lives for this country. Doesn't matter if they're still a pencil pusher or what. They come first. Seniors, families and children, and then everybody else. Mr. President, you're in a position now that I don't envy you. I wouldn't wish you couldn't even pay me $1 billion to have your position. It's a big responsibility. I'm not going to tell you my political affiliation, but I respect you. I respect anybody that sits behind that desk in that office. But we also need a lot of help in this country. Over the past few years, our country has really had an epidemic of homelessness. That's not going to get any easier. And regardless of what any nonprofit company says, we can never eliminate homelessness. I'm not saying that to be pessimistic. I'm saying that in reality. We can cut it down to a great deal. We can help. But we're never going to get the respect of other countries and other nations looking at us saying, the United States, what a big, rich, and powerful country. We should admire them and respect them. But wait a minute, how can we respect a country that can't even help their own countrymen, but would rather help other countries in their time of need? Charity begins at home. You need to take care of your own before you go and help other people. And I'm not saying that again to be negative or pessimistic or anything else, but when we're sending food, surplus, money, clothing to other countries that have befallen disasters, when we have a disaster in our country, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and people are walking around and looking at homeless people and saying, that's disgusting. How can they live like that? Well, we're being let down by our own nation. You need to, please, you really need to focus this on this matter and help. Again, as a governor of our state, I'm not saying drop everything. You are the president, you are the man in charge, and you know how bad the situation is. You can't hire people that have never experienced. Yes, you can hire people that have worked with, but unless you've walked a mile in our shoes, you have no idea. Hiring people to take care of the homeless that have no clue, that really have no compassion, no sympathy, just another social worker, and for us, we're just another number, we're another statistic. Maybe you should hire some homeless people in Washington, wherever, in all the major cities. Hire them, ask their opinion, tell them where this money should be going to. You know what? It's nice to give someone a sandwich, clean socks, and maybe a shower. But all that's doing is sustaining the homelessness. That's prolonging homelessness. We need to focus on housing the homeless first. And then whatever the problem is, whether it's mental issue, addiction, or whatnot thereafter. But to have someone say if they're homeless with an addiction, treating the addiction and then housing them will never work. Because the frustration level of that particular person, that one person that is addicted, they're waiting and waiting. They're waiting for the housing. You're wanting them to go to get help. They're going to get frustrated. We need to house homeless people first and then treat the addiction. It's a smart way of doing things. You can't go the other way around because people get tired and frustrated. And out here, it's bad. I've known people that, with the organizations that I have worked with, I've known quite a few people that have died out here. And every year out here in Pasadena during the holidays, there's a church that has a memorial service for those homeless people here in Pasadena that have perished. And it's sad. And it shouldn't have been, because if they could have just gotten a little bit of help, they would have still been alive. Medical is such an important thing, but we can't. I actually accomplished something yesterday that I had been trying to accomplish for a long time, and that was something as simple as getting a mailbox. The fact is that getting a mailbox, something as simple that everybody takes for granted, and I used to take for granted too. Getting a mailbox, snail mail, it's hard. You need to have 2 pieces of ID. You go to places, the post office, mailbox, etc., UPS store. They won't give you a mailbox unless you have 2 pieces of ID. Military ID. Well, hardly anybody carries ID for that sake. We need to have a little bit of leeway. I'm not saying for everybody, but maybe case by case. Focus on that. I don't know. I'm really tired. I'm 51 years old. I've been out here for a while. I've been involved in helping feed homeless people. And I see it, and it's distressing. It's depressing. And at times it fills me with anger because I know we can do this. I know our country, our nation can help our citizens. But we forsake our own citizens and help other people. Can we just maybe take some of that and just start helping our own citizens, especially here in California? Because the way Pasadena is here, it's going the way of Silicon Valley. We're going to be pricing out everything. It's very expensive. I don't know. Maybe I'm not making any sense. I'd like to be able to actually talk to the governor of California, Mr. Brown. I'd actually like to meet and talk with the president for 15, 30 minutes and ask for help and explain what's going on. But I'm just one single 51-year-old man here in Pasadena in this situation, being homeless. Oh, and can we also do away with the other phrase that is now the new catchphrase, experiencing homelessness? Experiencing homelessness is a bad phrase. It's like saying, oh, I'm going to experience drug addiction just to see. No, this is not an experience by any means. I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. This is not much fun. This is not much fun. Need your help. Mr. President, Mr. Governor, please help us. Please help our country. Please help the state. Be our glue. Be our glue. Be our champion. Help us. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much. God bless you all. God bless every single person here in our nation. Take care. If you want to contact me, my information is down below. Anytime. Take care.